Close. Way overdue.
Very appreciative.
Okay. All right, let's call the meeting to order. Can I get a roll call, please?
Trustee Giroux.
Here.
Trustee St. Germain. Trustee Ernst.
Here.
Trustee Daniels.
Here.
Trustee Craig.
Is he not Zoom either?
That country. isn't he?
Remember, he's.
That's right.
So he's
You told us.
He's gone.
Be gone.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I remember that now. Thank you.
We should all be in.
All right, let's all rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. All right, can I get a motion for approval of the agenda?
I move we approve the agenda.
Well, second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Aye. Motion carries. Do we have any public comment this evening?
We do not.
All right, next for approval of the minutes of the January 19th and the special meeting on July 7th. Can I get a motion?
I'll move we approve the minutes of June 19th and July 7th.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thanks for slowing down, though. I got caught up. Appreciate that.
All right.
Moving on to the next thing.
Yeah. Let's move on to the consent agenda. Can I get a motion?
I move that we accept the consent agenda.
I'll second that.
Any discussion or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Aye. Motion carries. All right, reports and recognition. Being it's summer, we only have one board report, and that was from Becca from.
Two.
Jim's.
Yeah, Jim's too.
I just added it.
Oh,
I did
you
it
just
today.
did.
He just did it today. It's better. And do keep in mind, I want to officially go on record. I told nobody had to do reports this month since most
That's
of them
what I
are.
was
So
just gonna say.
it wasn't a requirement.
Okay, now I'm.
Above and beyond.
You got two. Might as well get two.
Mine neither. It's okay. It's okay. It's all right.
Just give me 2 seconds here. Maybe. Okay, here we are. Well, it's not showing up on mine, so.
It's on there.
it's
I
not
see it.
showing- I can't.
You do the one you're supposed to, and we'll do the other one.
There you go.
Okay. All right. So I have two board reports. One from Becca from OJHS.
It's gonna be hard to say.
I can't say it. Yeah.
Here,
Yeah.
here, from here.
From here, and then one from Mr. Hill. And welcome. Congratulations.
So I do have a question, Madam Chair. So the update number 3, we're adding an intervention room.
So it's yes and yes, to put it in a simple way. So we are taking the room over here that does IDLA, that usually has an IDLA, moving IDLA into the library here, and hiring a paraprofessional there to kind of manage some of our student behaviors, our in-school suspension. It's been the job that's been posted before, that kind of ISS intervention person, but we actually have some applicants, so we're doing some interviewing for that.
So is it taking the step towards sort of that St. Mary's model then?
It's a we kind of felt with the conversation right at the last board meeting when we talked about turning point, that was, maybe a big jump to try and do without some data. So we did discuss this might be a small version of it to test some things out, to kind of see, do we need a certified person? Do we need a para?
Awesome.
What
Thank
kind
you.
of, and someone who could help with that data tracking to understand some of that risk stuff. So we're going to give it a go. And I think it'll help us from an office standpoint, not housing a lot of our kids in the office for confidential reasons, and having a place that's a little bit more targeted towards intervention and grant.
Well, and perhaps not giving them opportunity for attention either. So,
Well, and so it's just maybe some restorative practice, just.
Mhm.
There's a lot of different ideas. We've sensed what the need is at our building and said now we need to provide targeted intervention.
awesome. Thank you for
Mhm.
listening.
Which is important.
Good.
Can we give it a go?
All right.
There you go.
All right. So, Mr. Hill, your recognitions are for all your academic staff. And welcoming you to IDYCA and your teachers as well. Helping with the interview process for your new positions, the principal and the SPED. Heather Kelly for working various hours to get the required SPED information. Amy Jarrett for ability with transcripts and systems and making the transition smoother. And Becca for her guidance and file reviews during your transition. So that's great. From this building, Becca wants to recognize Russ Miles and Alicia Hernandez for working to put the camera system in, which that's going to be a great improvement. And Lou, Wally, and Amanda for working hard on the floors and the carpets. And I noticed that you could like see yourself on the floor down there.
Lou does a good job.
Yeah. And Ms. Jones for coming in and every Monday over the summer to make sure things are in order. Not surprising. That's who Cheryl is. And all of the teachers that have spent their time off aiding and hiring the new positions and sitting on hiring committees. That's probably been a pretty daunting task as well. And the new paint, Roy, for the new paint job on the spot looks awesome. So anyway. All right. Anybody else have anything on they want to add or whatever? That's pretty straightforward because everybody's off. So yeah. All right. So if there's nothing else, let's move on to our discussion items, which include our policy updates. Becca, do you want to kind of talk about that a little bit?
So thought we'd take an easy month because from here on out, it gets a little bumpy. We have 2 second reads to do that we had done in the May meeting. It was the human resources one and the updating to the code of ethics, I believe. So those are easy second reads. We've made no changes to those since the last time. I was gone for my doctoral stuff last month, so I don't think we got it up for a second read. From there, though, you guys will see that I've started work on the policy tracker. I've updated it for the next year for 2023, 2024, and it will be a doozy. There's a lot of policies, as you guys know, that attended the Idaho Law Conference. A lot of the new laws are informing a lot of new policy. So I'm trying to chunk it up in a way that's manageable. I went through and identified anything that's a required update to a required policy. And we're going to front load those before school starts so that we're in compliance rolling through and we know how to manage. And then I'll go from there and try to do 3 or 4 every month. That should get us through the big ones. Some of them are going to see some change, even some of the current legal happenings that are happening in our state right now. We might see change again.
Right.
And again, my mind and focus with it is I will put the ISBA recommendations, I'll put our current policy, and then the policy committee will work to kind of get you something that fits our district specifically. Okay. So yes.
In thinking about some of the stuff that we learned, are there nuances for the academy in association with some of the policies that the legislature has changed?
So being an accredited school through the district, technically no. We talk a lot about, Jim and I've talked about this too in the academy, that it's an assumption of liability too, that we kind of as a school have to follow very specific protocol for the academic side of things, both in these schools and at the academy. So everyone's bound to the law. So no matter what we do now, there are some continuation pieces as far as graduation requirements. So say that we decide to up ours, we could always say the academy stays at a lower rate. So if we wanted to write in specific things, but I would say my advisement for that would be stick to the law as close as possible. But if there's like workability issues, that's something that I would work with Jim on and say, hey, like, is this feasible in your environment? I think we were chatting about that a little bit earlier about the parental rights piece.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
The law states there is no waiver. You cannot waive that right. And so they're responsible for the same law that we are in our building. So.
And it's pretty overreaching, not overreaching, but it affects a lot of different entities besides schools. It affects counseling. It affects all kinds of
I wondered how it
was
going. And I know we're getting into what we were going to talk about next time, but how the guard is digesting that.
Yeah, and both through Jim and through myself, we've seen a lot of conversations talking about that. I've made them aware during my time there that this is what's coming up. This is what the law says, and they're very well versed in some of that stuff as well. So they're aware of the going ons. I think it's hard not to in the state the way that it's going to impact so many different policies. You look at our list, and I think there's 4 or 5 right off the bat. Student privacy, the search and seizure, they haven't even finished yet. There's a lot of pieces that is going to impact policy. So.
Yeah, it's very
Gotta
far
be-
reaching, that whole one.
Yes.
So that's going to be interesting to see.
We'll try
how
to stay on the front end of it. So that way we have policies in place that will hopefully help us navigate things that arise and we have something to adhere to, but we'll stay on the pulse of if things change due to certain cases happening because as they said at the law conference, a lot of this stuff is unprecedented by legal cases. There's we don't know which way things are going to rule.
Right.
Based on the fact that it's never been.
And as challenges to the law
Right.
and different things arise, then that,
As we know is happening with one of the policies right now. So.
yeah.
We're
So
already rolling.
it's a ever changing thing. So, all right. Any more question on the policy updates?
What are the 2? I'm trying to find them.
So if you go to the policy tracker from the last one,
I am
so I've created the new tab for 23, 24, but if you go to the 22,
23,
23,
yep.
there's 2 at the bottom that say second read.
Thank you.
They're the last, I think they're almost the exact bottom. It's like 5100 and.
I got 'em.
5104 or something like that.
Yeah, and like I said, Code of Ethics and the human resources that
Mhm.
Farah did all the doctoring on about 2 months ago now.
All right. Anything else?
Yeah. So what were the policy numbers exactly?
5100 and 5280.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. We good with that one? All right, moving on. Cell phone use in school.
It's huge.
I'm again it.
So this has been a talk, and I know I've had a couple of you board members as well kind of bring it to my attention, and I know the administrators and teachers, and we've had a lot of input on that, but we're going to gather a lot more. So I sent that out. I think we need to formulate a survey is what we talked about. I know Mr. Hunter and Ms. Kaczynski have talked about that as well. And I think we'll send it out. I'd like to send it out at the district level. We first originated, we were going to send it out at the school level, but I think it'd be better to have district wide so we can have better information and we can use it overall. So I think we just need to formulate what that's going to be and how that looks. And I'd like to send it out to, parents, students, if we probably won't get a lot of response from that, staff, and then, you guys as well. So we have that input, and then we'll try to create a policy that's going to be workable. We're not trying to take away that right totally at all. We're just trying to make it less of a nuisance in the classroom. So a lot of workable policies that we've looked at already, they have where usage can happen in passing period in high school or, before and after school, but not in the classroom unless a teacher gives permission to, or they're using it for operation or whatever.
Well,
it might be.
and I think we have to be really careful on that because once I think we're going to have to be specific in the wording if we choose to adopt a cell phone policy and how it's enforced and what the parameters of it are. I think where we've gone awry before on it is that, okay, well, Ms. Smith lets us have so we can listen to music, we can do this, we can do that. Well, we all know kids, and give them an inch, they're going to take a mile.
Right.
I mean, are they listening to music, or are they texting, or are they looking at God only knows what? I mean, it's just, so I think we have to be very concise and very specific on what that policy looks like and how it is, because, one of the teachers complain about that all the time, about the cell phones. And so I think we have to be very broad and sweeping on that, on how we're going to do that. So.
We'll have to be very intentional.
Yes.
It'll be a battle that we have to choose to fight. And, hopefully it won't be that much of a battle, but I mean, we have to have everybody on board and we have to have that consistent, like you said, because otherwise we'll have to make sure our staff is consistent with it as well. So, yeah, definitely agree.
Are there safety or emergency contact issues?
We hear that often. I think that's
Get a hold of half the time kids don't pick up their phones when they need to pick it up.
right.
So my daughter doesn't answer when I call, but she always has her cell phone on and her friends text. She gets them,
Yeah. Well, there you go.
but I'll find a way to get a hold of her as a parent.
And
So-
there's landline
Right.
phones in all the classrooms
Exactly.
too. So if something were to go south,
Mhm.
There's landline phones. And studies have shown too, said when there's big, huge incidents in schools and every kid is trying to call mom and dad, or mom and dad are trying to call
It's
them.
chaos.
It's chaos.
Yep.
And it becomes a safety factor to it too. Because it jams the system and it causes mass.
No.
Well, the bottom line is to, when the students are in class, they need to be learning and, teachers teaching, and we need to just if we can remove that one obstacle, I think it might be worthwhile. So, we're going to explore it.
Turn our phones on airplane mode in a plane. 'cause we're
Absolutely.
trained to do it.
Right.
So we turn it on.
That's a great point.
Are there
Great
any,
point.
are there any instructional uses that
They have
they are
Chromebooks.
used for?
Yeah, that's the thing, is I was thinking about that, we're one-to-one Chromebook, like, there are opportunities in which you have a student participate, say that Chromebook is dead, but that sounds like, that's a whole nother issue, but there are maybe Russell can correct me on this, very few things that you would want to do on this that you couldn't do on that.
Right.
That's
That's cool.
well said.
I'm just saying,
I know.
that
Right,
would
the
be the
music
one
piece.
thing that they would be doing there, that because of the filters we had on planes.
I missed that. What'd you
Do
say?
what?
Music is what they would want access to on the phone, on their phone versus their Chromebook.
For a music class?
No, to
Mm.
listen.
No.
to.
No.
Oh.
No. I just think,
To block everybody else out, right?
well,
Hence the problem.
I mean, I'm thinking I was a student.
Right.
I would not use myself. So I would use it as another screen and I would use it as a calculator.
Yeah,
Well,
that's what I was thinking, calculator.
there's one pat answer to that, calculators for one, which I'm sure the school has, and two, no.
There's a calculator on here.
We're also concerned about my wife's math teacher here. There's programs now, they can type in things and produce the answers.
Oh, for sure.
That's an
Mhm.
issue for, so Chromebooks, they can't do that, but at least on their phones, they can. And
Yeah.
so
Yep.
she's read the answer, but that's not something you would do, or you did it a different way. than
Yeah.
showed you.
I wish they had that when I was going to college. Just saying.
Yeah, you can take a phone and you can take a picture, map.
And it'll solve it. Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's a different day and age.
Yeah. I,
But yeah, I mean,
as long as
when
we
you
use some-
really start dissecting it, can you really think of one thing, one good reason why a kid would have to have their cell phone out?
And especially common sense, like I said, if you have it, it's not like you have it in their pocket or wherever we tell them to keep it. You just have it turned off or you have it on airplane
Yeah,
mode.
just have them keep it in their locker. They have lockers. Have them, keep them in their lockers. Because you're gonna have kids try to sneak them. You're gonna have them, they're gonna be in their hoodie pockets, down their pants, who knows?
Yeah.
And they're gonna try, so
But if they even just kept them in their pocket, I think that'd be a big start, wouldn't it?
it'd be a start, but it's gonna last long.
Well, how much energy do we and resources do we expend in enforcing such a thing though,
Yeah.
right?
I think
So
a
it has to be
lot till they get
simple,
used to it.
It's a
But
big
my point
distraction.
is it would have to
school-wide
be
right now, though.
simple.
It's a
Right.
big
Yeah.
distraction.
It just,
I would say it's a root of a lot of some of the behavior issues that
Mhm.
we see in this building, is that comes from being, teacher asking for a phone and then a student being disrespectful back to them, and so.
Yeah.
just-
refusing to give it, you can't take it,
Right.
yeah.
So I think, and we're not new on this trend. This is something that a lot of schools in our area, and that's part of the reason it got brought up, is that other people have tried kind of vetting this process, and it boils down to responsible management of technology. We all as adults are not, we want to teach our kids how to be a responsible contributing member of society, and that's monitoring your cell phone usage in appropriate settings.
That's
And
right.
knowing when it's respectful and when it's not respectful to have your device out. And I think that if it's intentionally taught and intentionally enforced, the goal of that is to build the habits that will help them be successful later in life.
Exactly.
So it might, and there's a lot of policies and there's a lot of schools that have vetted this out, tried out, ran into some maybe safety concerns or technology concerns that we can learn from. There's a lot of differing policies based on school sizes that we can evaluate. I think the data collection piece before we write ours is huge,
Yep.
because we don't want to make the same mistakes that other people have that will make it hard on our culture, more so than what we already are experiencing. So.
There's a lot of, there's some positive things as far as technology goes, but there's also some negative aspects to it. I think that they're with social media and the, Snapchat, which is evil. Just saying, it's evil. I mean, the bullying and the whole, I can tell you stories that'd make your hair curl. And, you know, it's caused more problems, I think, than what anybody can even imagine. And we're all, the reason why they're in school is for a good learning environment. That's what we want to assure, that there's a positive, good learning environment. And by putting those puppies in their lockers, leaving them there, great. So,
And I think that's the fine line. We're not gonna be able to stop Snapchat from happening, but when we have to step in is when it starts getting disseminated at school.
Yeah.
Yep.
yeah, there's kids, because quite frankly, we confiscate cell phones all the time. We hack into Snapchat, we hack into Facebook, Instagram. We have mad skills when it comes to some of that kind of stuff. And, you know, it's like, okay, this kid is in school this day, and you start going back into their history of where they've been on that phone all damn day.
Yep.
How much are they learning if they're constantly trying to look to see what their friends are doing? And oh my God, did you see it? Ridiculous. But anyway, that's my rant. So, and I like my cell phone, just my iPhone, just as much as anybody else does. But
During my day, it would have been like bringing your TV.
You would have had a truck and trailer to haul it.
You have to have your buddies carry it
you
around.
have to get the neighbor off the party line. So okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So when do you plan to send the survey out?
Probably the first part of August is what
Okay.
we're looking at.
So pretty quick.
Yeah, we
So
want to
'cause-
get the data. We didn't want to just do it over the middle of the summer. Might
Yeah.
not get a lot of response, but
Yeah,
as
I
people are
like it.
gearing up,
Yeah.
it'll be good.
Once we put the word out on the street that we're gonna start talking about, we're gonna get response.
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
we'll get responses.
Well, most of the people that I've talked to are all for it.
Oh, yeah,
I've heard a
grown-ups.
lot of them. It's like,
Parents have to
yeah,
really
good
do
for
it.
you guys, do it.
Hmm.
So
We'll see where it lands.
we'll see what
Yeah.
happens, but I think it's worth a try. I
Well,
really do.
I
How
think
long do you-
it's-
how long do you run those for usually? You send it out and then how long do you?
Probably
use it?
just a week or so.
Okay, So
Yeah,
by our next meeting. we'd
yeah.
probably have
Oh,
some
I
data.
think so. Yeah. Yeah, because we'll want to put a policy in place before school starts.
Okay.
Our next meeting is the 21st, I believe, of August.
Perfect.
So, yeah, I think, you know, we just need to be careful how I guess I shouldn't say be careful. We need to keep in mind that whatever we do the first time, like what we normally do, may not be exactly the answer,
No.
but we got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
If we're
Yeah,
committed to
exactly.
doing it. And I'm really curious to see what feedback we do get from our community, you know, so we have some real data to look at.
Well, I think it's important too that we, you know, that's not, okay, you absolutely
Right.
cannot have them at school,
Right.
you know, but this is where we're going with it. You know,
Yep.
that has to be kept in or whatever we decide to do,
Yep.
of course, but it has to be kept in the
Sure.
locker, kept whatever, that type of thing, and make it clear that that's what we're considering versus, you know, parents going, well, why am I paying for a cell phone plan if they can't even, you know, have it on them? And anyway,
Let's
Lots
keep
of
track
ins
of
and
the number
outs.
of referrals.
well,
We'll see that data in October.
how many referrals did we have last year because of cell phones? Disciplinary
Oh.
referrals.
Probably a
I
lot.
can't pull the data for you, but
It's
I
a
think it was
bunch.
in the top 3 as far as discipline occurrences.
Yeah.
And as Mrs. Kaczynski was saying, it might have been a primary or it might have been a secondary, but a lot of times it was a primary leading to defiance, leading to disrespect, leading to.
No, it's nice as a parent to know your kid made it to school and they can let you know. And then
Yeah.
it's nice if something happens that they can go get a hold of you. Absolutely. But like you said, usually you can get a phone or watch your locker or talk to your teacher. So
Yeah, there's ways around.
before and
it.
after is when it's important
Yeah.
for a parent.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, kids have to, nowadays it's to call mom
Yep.
to get me a ride home for practice or whatever the case
Yep.
may be.
So having that data would be good for the August conversation.
Thank you.
Absolutely. All right, let's move on. Calendar and the graduation dates. Everybody was last meeting, so do we want to make a recommendation to the calendar committee on how we want to do that? I guess is the big question.
Yeah, I don't think it's just the Bonners talking because I follow social media like everybody else. I think there's a big wave of, and they're all saying the same thing and they're different Orofino, Timberline and all over. They're saying go back to how it used to be a Friday, Saturday.
Friday,
And
Saturday,
then just
alternate.
swap. And so I haven't heard any negatives on that other than we got to drive twice. And I don't think any of us care about that.
Which we
2
have
nights in a
to.
row. Yeah,
it
yeah. We
doesn't
were rushing
matter.
off the hill in the rain
Yeah.
last time, but you're gonna be around, stay around for that weekend anyways.
What
Is
do
there
you-
any downfalls?
What
to
do you
that
guys
movement?
think?
It's better for the community. I don't have a preference.
That's-
I
Where I've
feel
been all
pretty
along,
strong
yeah.
about it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I think it makes
I
sense
think we
and,
should change.
yeah.
I think you make a
we-
lot of community happy right away by doing a simple
Yeah.
change.
So do you flip a
Sure
coin
difference.
for who's the first Friday?
I guess, I don't know. The calendar committee can figure out who wants to be first, I guess. I don't care. I don't.
Maybe
guess when you
these
go-
two can flip a coin.
We get,
The last time we did it, just.
Keep it going.
Yeah, just keep it going or
There
whatever.
you go.
there you go.
If you can pull past data, see who
Yeah.
had it, I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's,
then you're just back on the trend.
yeah. and
Right on.
keep
That's
it-
good. I think that's good.
I think that's a great way to do it. And then you just set a time that seems reasonable for everybody, 6, 7 o'clock,
6,
something like
seven.
We're
that.
gonna have the Friday. we think about it.
Yep.
Yeah, what is
Work
the time they
schedules,
want
yeah.
it?
I would say,
After work.
yeah, 7
Definitely
o'clock.
7 o'clock.
I think 7 o'clock.
Is
is
7 too
reasonable.
late
That
for?
makes sense.
I went-
Timberlines goes pretty quickly.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah,
Well, just thinking about, so who, the employers on the Hill, I'm just thinking about, so a lot of folks work for you
Yep,
that come off the Hill.
yep. So you're off.
You
by
know, the mill
4:35.
shift is you're gonna be off at, I think, 3:30 or you're not.
Yep, and
to
you're off
participate.
4:30 or 5 with us,
Um,
so 7 o'clock you should
The
be.
bank,
5:30.
yeah,
Bank is fine.
5:30
So-
or 6.
So why don't we
Makes sense.
send it back to committee and you guys, if you two principals would be on that, that would be great.
yeah.
And we
Yeah.
can make a recommendation in
Make a
our August
recommendation.
meeting.
Bring it
That
to
work?
us in August and we can
Yeah.
sign off on
Yep.
it.
Okay.
We'll gather
Easy.
information and go from there. Thank
Easy
you.
peasy. Next, we'll move on to the levy. Supplemental levy.
Yeah.
You have pretty flyers.
I do. Here, you guys can take one and pass it down. So, as usual, levy's coming up. It's due in March. As we all know, the March election date was removed from the calendar. So there is no election in March. So we opted to run in August. We talked about this earlier that we couldn't run it until we ended up with the numbers from the state. Since then, the state has actually done some rules on the actual law, and we can run it without those numbers. We just have to indicate that those numbers will be there. So the way that's actually going to feed back to our stakeholders, our taxpayers is we would run the levy for the 2.685 million. The taxes would be calculated based on what I have on this, the formula on this S valuation. And then the county would actually refund the difference. So it goes out of our hands. We don't have that. They collect it, the county would hold the money, and then they would refund back to the constituent. Yes, yes.
Taxpayer.
What that is, I don't know. I don't think anybody has that calculation yet.
How long period would they have to hold it?
What's that? I don't know as they have the rule on how long before they can return it. So last I heard is they're still trying to debate, is it better to do it calculated up front and then take it off of your bill and just show it as your tax bill and then say minus this much? Or do they collect it and then return it? I think they'll probably opt for it, saying they're going to just have that taken off. So you'll have your line item for Joint Skill District 171, and then it'll say, this is refunded. This is what's coming off.
Off your next year's.
Yes,
taxes.
if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So we're going to run that. We have to indicate on what we're using it for. That law went into effect last year, I guess, the year before, right after we passed our last levy. And the truth of the matter is we spend about 1.7 million of it on classified staff salaries and wages. And that's due to the state shorting us on classified staff salary and wages and benefits. So those come down to that. There's also, and you guys, I wrote this in here, I believe, so you have it. I believe it's on the back page of that. There's about 750,000 budgeted annually towards facility operations and maintenance. So those are coming out of general fund monies, and about 200,000 budgeted towards safety and security updates and improvements. So kind of a technology side of things, but safety and geared towards some of the things like we're doing, some of the projects with cameras and door or access controls, and then, intercoms, those type of things, some communication systems. So that's a big part of it. When we look at our overall budget, if you look at what's happened over the years, and that's on the first page or the back page of it. If you look at this upcoming year, the taxable value, which is the valuation in the county, is about 933 million. If you look back down to 2014, it was 510 million. And if you look at what we actually percentage of our budget to the far right, 2014, it was about 19.59% of our budget. If you look at our upcoming or our most recent budget, we were about 13%. So we can project that to probably be in less and less over time.
I think one of the questions that I received is, why do we need $5.3 million more than we had 3 years ago?
So we're not asking for $5.3 million
No,
more.
but overall budget.
Oh,
Why does the
overall.
school overall budget
That's, well,
increase?
that's a great question. So wages, everything else has increased. We're seeing our costs just skyrocket. When you're looking even at things like utilities are higher than ever. Supplies, materials, wages obviously are the biggest piece of that. Trying to stay competitive is a huge piece of that. And benefits, we've seen an average of about 7% increase on insurance every single year. And just to have that offer that benefit package is big as well. So there's just an overall inflation, I would have to say, on everything. Fuel we spent almost double what we'd had budgeted this year versus last. So those things, and we haven't added any more routes. It's just more expensive. A bus now is running us 125,000. 5 years ago, we were buying them for 75,000. So they've almost doubled in price. So that's probably the biggest answer.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
I just needed that verbiage.
Nope, that's fine. So that it kind of shows a comparison of what we've done over the years. I expect that taxable valuation to continue to increase. If you look at the percentage, some districts will run a percentage of the valuation. So you're looking at some districts will run, for example, like a 6% levy, and they'll do a 6% on the tax valuation. So if you did that, you would be seeing an increase in the levy dollars coming in. But what we've done is we're running a flat levy, which is a flat rate, that 2.685 we run for years and years. So that becomes less of the assessed valuation. So it ends up being actually a less percentage. We're still collecting the same dollars, but it's spread over a less or larger valuation.
So on the flyer in the box, the levy dollars help support certified staff salary and benefits, which result in increased student programs and more learning opportunities.
So we have used some local dollars for adding a special ed teacher. We've also added other programs since then. Let's see, 2 years ago, we added some at your school, art at your school. And we've still been looking for, CTE program here as well, trying to increase a little bit if we can get the participation. So, yeah.
Our insurance alone is over $2 million.
Yeah, our insurance alone is 2.2.
I'm just thinking about the person.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I think and I'd have to ask Brittany on this for sure, but I think our local insurance is like our liability insurance is about $80,000. And I remember when I started here, it was about 35. So, even that insurance has increased, 6 years or whatever. So things like that just continue to go up. It's incredible how much money goes in and out the door pretty quickly. So, yeah.
Never raised this levy either.
No, this levy hasn't raised for a lot of years. Yep.
It only went up $3,000.
Yep.
The only thing I'm wondering is August, people aren't used to that, are they?
Yeah, that's correct. They probably aren't, and we're not really used to it either. So, we'll see how that turns out. If it doesn't pass, we'll try to run it again in November. I think, and I don't think our numbers will change. I feel confident that's what we need, and that's what we budgeted for, and what we've been living on. Are we living above our means of what the state gives us? Yes, but is the state giving us what we need? No. I think that did they increase? They increased this year. We had significant increases, so that was great, but we're still short. Yeah.
And it's 65% of the voting population of the votes cast, right?
No,
for-
50,
For a levy? Oh, it's 50.
51, 50 plus
So
one.
50 plus one.
Mhm.
It's not 50. Okay.
Yes.
Yep.
And what is the date?
It is August 29th, right? Should have that on there.
Is it?
Doesn't it say it on there?
I think what we did last time was we
Maybe-
didn't advertise it that much, and that was actually a good thing. So we get our groups out.
These, the word gets around and again, we're not trying to hide a single
No.
thing, but definitely I've got some things lined up. I'm going to go speak at the Republican Party in August. They've invited me to do that. Rotary's a good connection. Anything else you guys can find? Yeah. Yeah, it's it's the, did you guys look at the date?
Might want to put the date on the front.
Yeah. What is that date?
I think it is the 29th from your email.
I'll grab our cell
August
phone.
29th. Yes, 29th. Yep.
29th.
Yeah, August 29th.
All right. Any more questions, comments, anything on that?
So if anybody needs any more of those, make copies, I can send them whatever. That has some good information on it, good history and
Yeah.
good support.
And that'll be the only thing they
Email
vote
this?
for.
That's connected on this link where it says levy on the agenda.
Thank you.
So
I told you I
it's
was
on our
gonna bring
website.
them
If somebody
on.
wants to look at that and print it off, they certainly can, but I can certainly email it separate as well.
We can print them.
And what'd you say, Jesse? I'm sorry. You asked me.
I lost it.
That's
all right.
okay.
Well, I think you said not making a huge deal about it.
No, I guess that's what I'm
Stays on.
saying. Is it, yeah, we'll stay doing that and we'll just get the right people. But August 29th, is this the only thing that's going to be voted for that day? Do you know?
I don't think so. I think there was a couple other things. I
There
can't
are other
remember. I
things.
think there's other things on
I
there.
think there is too.
And it's just a
And I
yes or
can't
no,
remember.
correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yep. Yeah, you support it. No, you don't.
Perfect.
Yep.
Thank you.
And the ballot language has that information that's on that front page,
Okay.
this part on it. So that we're required to put on, in general, what we use it for.
Yep.
Specifically, there's lots of little details in there, but that in general, that's where it goes. And we can probably piece together lots of other little pieces that it fills in here and there, but that's really the bulk of it. So.
All right.
Is there anything that you would like us to be doing in particular?
I think just having a positive outlook on it and supporting it, obviously, and anybody that's talking about it, if you have any questions or anybody has any questions, direct them to me. I'm glad to answer. We've been putting this out there quite a while and had some success with it. So yeah, I'm glad to answer questions.
I'd like to start putting some pictures of the 750 and the 200,000, that almost $1 million, some of the things that are getting done.
Yeah,
The parking lot,
Absolutely.
this camera, some of
Yep.
that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Just for
That's-
moving forward.
That's a good idea.
yep. We're gaining. I'll get Roy on that. See how he is as a photographer.
There we go.
That's a good idea.
All right. All right, if nothing else, we need to go into executive session.
What?
I thought this was July.
Huh? Yeah, we do.
It's either that or a special meeting, what you want.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Lock that computer,
All
Grant.
right, so somebody, I need a motion first.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to move that we move into executive session according to Idaho Code 74-206, 1A and B.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Roll call.
Aye.
Oh, roll call.
Yes,
Trustee Giroux,
yes.
trustee Saint Germain,
Yes.
trustee Earps.
Yes.
Trustee Daniels.
Yes,
And who seconded that? Jesse?
I did.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, if we got one, do we have a room somewhere we can go? Seven. We can go to office if you got that back there, it'd be fine.
All right, we're back from executive and there are no actions from our executive session. So we have nothing there. So let's move on to our action items. Policy updates. Can I get a motion?
I move we approve the policy updates as in 5100 and 5280 as presented.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Next is the negotiated agreement. We did meet last week and hashed out the last little bit of that. So
What you guys have attached is the revisions on that, and we agreed to as a committee, and they were taking it for ratification as well.
we just
So,
need to
yep.
approve all that. So can I get a motion?
I'm going to move that we accept the negotiated agreement with the changes that were made.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. Next, the signatories on the school accounts.
Yeah, so Brittany did a little bit more digging into this, and we have to do this at district level. And really what this is the protection, a little more assurances of having two parties basically. So you have one person creating and writing the checks and then another person signing.
Yep.
So that's just separating that and making sure that we're on track with that, just like we do at the district level. So.
All right. Can I get a motion?
I move that we accept the signatories for all three schools, Orofino Elementary School, Orofino Junior Senior High School, and Timberline.
I'll second that motion.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Next, the supplemental contracts, starting for FY 24. Can I get a motion? Or, yeah, can I get a motion?
So that's the ones we were talking about.
Let's see here. So these are, keep in mind, these are only supplemental contracts for 12-month employees.
Right.
There'll be another round of supplemental contracts as we get into the school year with some of the teachers and some of those type of things. So these are the ones that started July 1.
Mhm.
There will be additional later.
I move we approve the supplemental contracts and terms as
Mhm.
presented.
I'll second.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Next, the alternative authorizations for Jim Hill, Annalee Hill, and Victoria Martinez. Can I get a motion?
There's that.
So the alternative authorizations are to have updated certification for the current positions. This is not uncommon. We've had up to, I think, 12 or 14 is the most we've had at one time. So these are folks who are currently enrolled in a program and near completion or, somewhat near completion. So there's requirements to be met for that.
Mhm.
And this just requires board approval as we sign off on that to send it to the state, get certification.
I move we approve the alternative authorizations as presented.
I'll second.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Do we have any, we don't have any more new hires and separations?
do.
Click on the link there. There's
Yeah.
some. Yes, I
Oh.
believe so.
On the link.
Sorry.
Making sure.
Yeah.
Just didn't get it copied over there.
Megan, Tammy, Angela.
There's some changing around.
Somehow I'm not seeing it.
It is. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
and I can copy those and paste them on the front there if that will help you guys.
I got it.
Sorry about that.
That's right. That's probably my technical error.
No, I didn't get it. It's on there, the link, but I just didn't get it over there.
Okay, can I get a motion?
I'll move that we accept the new hires and separations as listed.
I'll second it.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. All right, now, do we
Hold
have,
on, Hold on.
what? Oh,
It's really more. of a
Sorry.
Yeah.
moving
Going too
dice,
fast.
isn't
When's
it?
our good time we're gonna get back?
I'm gaining. Trustee Jesse.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, this is gonna be all kinds of good. That was a 4-0.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Sorry about that. I'm ready now.
No, you're
Okay.
good.
Anybody have any input for next agenda? We are going to get board training from Brett Walther, right?
Yeah, Anderson, Julian Hall.
Yeah.
In August.
He's
We'll
gonna come
we'll try
up.
to do that. If it would work better, if we could do it that meeting, would that be better to do that prior? An hour
Yeah,
prior?
works for him.
Yeah.
Okay.
For a work session.
If
So
I
we're
can
up
get that
10
set up.
minutes.
I'm gone.
You're gone August 21st.
Yeah,
Let me check. I
I'm in
think I'm right.
Kirkland headquarters.
Does he have a particular subject we're gonna cover?
I think he's going to do some of what he did at the conference and yeah.
Okay.
Is there anything in particular you guys would like to add on? And really, that I guess to clue everybody in, that was all roles and responsibilities and legal side of things.
So you're gonna see if we could do that at 5 and then normal board meeting.
Yeah, he could probably do it. Yeah,
Is he gonna want to go clear to Timberline?
probably.
Great.
Okay.
You want to try it for that?
Yeah.
You
I'm
say you're
not
not going to be
available.
there. Okay.
It's gonna be 5.
We're gonna try for 5 up at Timberline.
Is an hour enough for him?
Hour and a half.
Hour and a half. I think it
Okay.
probably will be,
Okay.
unless you guys have a bunch of questions.
Chris
it-
is gone. We'll be all right.
I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing with you.
It's okay.
I know.
I'm proud of that. That's all right.
So if there's anything else, any other topics you guys would like to have covered, you shoot me an email and let me know. Be glad to include him on it. But he's a lawyer, so the legal side of things. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
good.
All right. So with that, can I get a motion for adjournment?
I move that we adjourn this meeting.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Okay,
Aye.
I'm gonna ask him for discussion.
Bye.
thank you. Yes.
Aye, motion carries. We are adjourned.
Yeah, the time is 7:48.
Thank you.